With us now is CNN's senior political commentator and former Obama administration official, Van Jones, and Republican strategist, Rina Shah. Thank you both for being here. When you look at the sorry, but it's a circus. When you look, this is not normal for when somebody comes to court. When you look at what's happening outside of court and you look at the tirade that Donald Trump went on over the weekend, talking about all these different things, going after the judge and saying he has the money, what does this tell you about how much he cares about this potential criminal case, the first that could go forward, and this case that really has to do just with his money? I will start with you, Van Jones.
Well, look, this is a big deal for him, and because now all of the vices are starting to come together. If you want to think about this from a big picture point of view, Donald Trump is the bull, and the legal system is the matador. He wants to run over American society back into the White House. He's got to get past the matador, and every single opening and vulnerability in his character is being poked at by the legal system. He's disrespectful toward women. The defamation case comes in. He's loose with the rules when it comes to documents. Okay, you got the Florida case coming in. You've got his frankly business swindler, for lack of a better term, affect. That's coming into case. Every single aspect of his personality that makes him unfit for office, and anybody else would be in jail or broke, is now coming down on him, and he's got to face them all at the same time. And so from his point of view, I'm sure it's a nightmare, but it's a nightmare of his own making. He's the person that wants to go back into the White House. He's the person that wants to flout all these rules. Well, the system has rules and ways to enforce those rules, and they're all being enforced now at the same time. And you can see him freaking out on Truth Social all night. This is a big, big day for him.
You really can see him sort of ranting in real time about this, and you can see how much it's under his skin. And Rina, just this morning he wrote, he's being forced to sell his babies. And by that we think he doesn't mean Eric or Don Jr. We think he's talking about his buildings there, Rina. But it does show you what he cares about most.
Well, I think when you pull back and look at this entire thing, I'm reminded by the Marcus Aurelius quote, the impediment to action then becomes the action. So this is the messaging strategy we have seen Trump and his family employ, frankly, that he's not just being kneecapped here by this historic judgment, supposedly. He is being crippled to the point where he is being denied what is fairly his. And so you can't look at elected Republicans for some kind of support at this point, because they've taken the road of, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So everywhere you're looking on the Republican side, there is this cry of Donald Trump is the victim of a system that is unfair, that has these undefined norms, and it's lawfare at its worst. And this is just something the Democrats have to push back on. Frankly, the ball is in their court to come out and say, well, if you're a billionaire, then you should have the money, and you should, with a blink of an eye, this should not be a problem for you. You should be presenting what you need to do to the court to show that you're an innocent man who follows the rules. And now, if that's going to work on these undecided voters, who knows? But here we sit in this moment where, frankly, the very thing that's at stake here is this perceived success that Trump has really benefited from all these years. Whether you like it or not, our system is one that says economic power is political power. And if Trump cannot pay this up, this bond, then we see it is starting to be turned on its head after today.
Van Jones, in speaking to that, and politically speaking, when you look at the money, and he's always put himself out there as, the man who could make the deal. Politically, when he can't pay this money, he's also using it to fundraise. It doesn't seem to be hurting him in the polls. I mean, what say you about this dichotomy here, where, Democrats might want to take advantage of this situation, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him?
Well, we just have two different universes in the Democratic Party universe. Someone this unfit for office, someone who's broken this many rules, somebody who's this afoul of the law, probably shouldn't be an intern at the White House, let alone be president. And that's the case the Democrats are prosecuting. But you go through Mirror World. Someone who the system hates this much, that she's trying to stop him no matter what. He must be good. everyone's against him. He must be for us. And so he's been able to flip this whole thing to present himself as a martyr, which is why he shows up in court even when you don't have to. I'm going to tell you right now, I've never had a client or anybody who wanted to go to court when they didn't have to go to court. Donald Trump wants to be there because he believes that by presenting himself as a martyr for his own cause, that it actually strengthens him. And so far, it looks like it's working. And so you literally have two different movies happening at the same time with the same characters. In one movie, whenever you see Donald Trump, it's a scary movie like a horror show. Another movie, when you see Donald Trump, it's a heroic movie, like he's a Superman for the right. So this is what we're dealing with, and we will always be strangers to each other and baffled by each other because it's hard for either side to understand why the other is feeling the way that we're feeling.
And we just want to be clear, we've been watching this and you've been seeing it on the screen there. We're watching the door literally where Donald Trump is going to walk through. The expectation is he often does speak. Sometimes he does it, halfway through. Sometimes he comes out of court, but he usually does say something. And now you see some movement there. We are waiting to see him come into court and see if he says anything about either of the legal things he is facing today. Van Jones and Rina Shah, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.